Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Internet cut out or something. Should be back now. Can you just die? Stop summoning ads. Why do you have to summon ads? Typical annoying hyper-armored boss that summons ads. Would it kill you to give me some hit stun, game? Give me hit stun. This chick has like 50 billion health. Can't do any combos. I'd rather have big monsters if you're gonna just... I'd rather have big monsters if we're just gonna have bosses like this. Monsters were fun to fight. This is not. Fucking ads ruined it. She was almost dead. He already has too much health. Just stop doing that, please. Get like a stagger or a stun or something. Just hit a wall. This is so boring. It's just so boring! Bosses that just stand there and walls don't need this much health. Please don't summon ads. They kill you, just have a normal boss fight. Guy with sword that staggers and reacts to attacks. No hyper armor. Major buzzkill. Always gotta have a boss like this. Just one that subverts the game mechanics. It didn't even tell me that I could only do it with the gunblade. The other weapons don't seem to work. I'm just gonna buff the damage. I don't know what else to do. This boss is no fun at all. Hate bosses like this. Just give me, like, a stun state, something game. It's this chick that just walks through everything. And you have to summon ads too, just to be even more annoying. Is there like some law you have to make bosses that summon ads? They need to have hyper armor as well. You know, it really takes me out of cutscenes when you fight a boss like this, and they're in hyper armor the whole time. You like one inch punch them in their vital organs, and they just walk through it. But then as soon as you're out of gameplay, they like tap them on the shoulder and they go flying. That really takes me out of action games. Hardcore. This boss was not reacting to anything I was doing. As soon as the control is taken away from me...
Even if I die, everyone...
Fine.
Plans to accelerate time on Earth, to create an environment where there's no space for us.
Where was that staggering 10 minutes ago? You're staggering pretty good right now. I'm sorry. My suspension of disbelief is gone when games do that.
Elvis?
Tales of Arise had that problem too.
I've already been trying to decode the data inside this
That
relic.
boss fight actually wasn't that
I
bad.
don't think what Medea said.
It wasn't terrible. It just kind of had all the annoying things you hate, like the hyper armor and
Let's go back to the shelter for
a
now.
lot of health, summoning
Still have to find a
ads.
spaceship.
Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Pushed the wrong button. I will say that wasn't as bad as the Tales of Arise boss, and there's one reason for that, or two reasons. The first is this character is very responsive. Look, he's not even in his attack frames. I can still cancel. As soon as I push the button, you can hear me. I'm sure you can hear me on the mic. He dodges when you tell him to. And like the just dodge window is actually pretty large. Like this attack here. Some of them you can't cancel. Forget which one you can't cancel. Like this leaves you vulnerable for a while, but you can do stuff like this. Go to the katana. And then when you switch to the claymore to guard, you can just do this instant switch. Character feels really good in this game. You can tell they did their homework. See, in Tales of Arise, the reason bosses like that didn't work in that game was the character couldn't animation cancel at all. And also, there were 3 other characters on the screen creating particle effects. So you can't see what they're doing, but then you're fighting an enemy your size that's completely obstructed by the particle effects. This game does not have that problem. That boss fight definitely wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad either. Mostly, it's my little wall of text I made on Twitter last night. It's like, hyper armor's not bad. It's not an inherently bad thing. It's just it needs to be implemented properly. Meaning the character needs to be able to deal with that stuff, and this guy can. He definitely can. He is more than capable of dealing with it. This game is not really a combo game anyway. It might look like it is, but it really isn't. It's mostly just using the weapons in the right way. This is Ultra H. Also, level design is great in this game. It's just a better-looking PS2 game. You run straight and you kill things, which is the best level design in these kinds of games. Definitely not an exploration-based games, but in a game where the main thing you do is beat up stuff, this game has top-class level design. These guys get it. Run forward and fight. That's all you do. This is a Korean game. This game is from Korea. Which is actually pretty impressive, because Korea has not been a very diverse country for games. To put it nicely. Yeah, this game is Korean. And pretty much all that comes out of their country is MMOs for like the past 20 years. So the fact that a game of this quality came out of Korea is really cool.
Frontier Network.
Also, I will say another thing about this game. The port is amazing. I have not had to fight with this port at all, which you know these days is a blessing. It's pretty rare you play anything on PC these days and not have to fight with it just to get it to work. The port for this is great. Rock solid above 100 FPS pretty much at all times. This is a late port, by the way. This game's been on PlayStation for like 7 months or whatever. And the port just came out like a couple days ago. To tell they really took their time. They didn't want to release a barely functional piece of trash like Stranger Paradise. It's like, I'm totally cool with waiting for a PC port. It sucks. It definitely sucks as a primarily PC.
Is this it?
I think
PC gamer, but if this is the quality I can expect, I don't mind. This is one of the best action game ports I've played in a while. No problems at all. What is Crimson Desert? Is that like Black Desert 2?
more orbit NSBs. They look like refuse from the combat unit.
What? Did they not receive Medea's order to retreat? She's going to give me a headache to the very end.
Yeah, I've had some people recommend Black Desert to me, but I know from a real-life friend here in town that game is the epitome of a second monitor spreadsheet game, and I don't really like those kinds of online games. I like just instant stuff, mostly. big open world games don't really interest me. I like to just get straight into the action.
Try using the wire to connect the charge claymore you just got. You must refill the... This barrier can only be destroyed by a fully charged charge claymore.
Might be a power core back here. Let me see. Yeah, this game is solid. They only want $25 for it. I hear the replay value is really weak, but they posted a video in Korean with English translation saying that they're gonna add a roguelike mode to this and stuff. I'm all about that. This isn't like the best character action game ever, but a roguelike with this combat is way better than like almost anything else, so I can roll with that.
Both sides are blocked. Use the charge claymore against the NSBs to refill the charge gauge.
No, this game has amazing level design, and by that I mean I have not had to push a box. I've had to find a couple keys. There's been no escort missions. There's been no forced walking sections. Well,
Is this really
besides
where they
like
generate
one really
power?
short one.
Something's odd.
I don't think so.
There's somebody else in my
Tried my
community
But I can't
named
detect any energy source.
Then what is the raw material of the regenerative energy?
Hey, why can I not use this? Oh, I had to wait for them to stop talking. Just God activates faster. Hell yeah. Take that. This game feels like a lost PS2 game, which is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
If you can't even handle a machine like this, you're going to be in trouble. Be careful, Age.
Yeah, Tales games have some awful puzzles. Old Tales games. Arise had, like, barely any. But old Tales games definitely had some puzzles that were pretty insufferable. Like the final dungeon in Xillia 2 actually being a roguelike dungeon. The path you take is different every time. Speed runs for that game, you can lose several minutes. Several minutes in that speed run. If you keep taking the wrong path. The final dungeon in that game is literally 2 screens. But they're 2 completely random screens. And the enemies are big character models and really narrow pathways, so you can't avoid them. The Xillia 2 speedrun is actually one of the worst Tales series speedruns by a rather large margin, as it has a ridiculous amount of RNG. That speedrun has a lot of execution too, but there's a fuck ton of luck involved as well, so a lot of people don't like to speedrun that game compared to other ones where there's less RNG. You have to land like an infinite combo on an enemy to level up enough. And that combo is incredibly difficult to do, and it takes several minutes, so in a speedrun setting, you have like maybe like 1 or 2 tries. And then you have to gamble at poker, because poker is how you get around the debt mechanic. Because there's an item in the poker reward shop that you can sell. It basically removes all the grinding. But the poker is complete RNG. And then once you get through all that, you have the final dungeon where you can lose several minutes. That's the hell nightmare mode speedrun for like Tales games. Pretty much not safe in that speedrun until the credits roll. It's definitely an impressive speedrun, but it's not really active right now. There was one Japanese streamer who was doing it for a while, but he kept getting boned by the RNG. He stopped. I know the Arise speedrun had a pretty big skip. It glitched over an invisible wall or something to like get into a loading zone fast and get better equipment. But I think all the patches they've done they killed that skip. That speedrun's kind of boring though, it's because the meat of Tales speedruns is pretty much the bosses and how you tackle them with like almost no grinding. But you can't combo anything in that game, so pretty boring. I'd rank it up there at the Zelia 1 speedrun. That's a really boring speedrun too. Pretty much for the exact same reason. You just spam the same move over and over. Rowan Fireball for like 9,000 times. Ah, that's not that bad. You know how much worse it could be.
Look below. The walls are moving. If we don't break through this wall, we'll be pushed off and plummet to our death.
Was Frontier producing these things?
H, look over there! Those are destroyed NSBs! Did they extract the energy from their NSBs?
In the end, Frontier suffered from a lack of energy, too.
This is the last building. The factory is being controlled from here.
Obvious boss fight. I got some power cores or whatever they're called, so it's the best thing to get in here. Ah, jump cancel. Obvious choice. Jump generates a shockwave. That doesn't seem too useful. The Devil Bringer doesn't seem too hot, honestly. I barely use it. I think probably the blade, the booster, and the gloves. Because the crit rage lets you really burst the bosses down. Bosses don't have too much health for what it's worth, but can help, like, get through phases and stuff. I think getting another module is what I should focus on right now. Let's see.
The walls are closing in on both sides. I don't think it's going to stop unless we break down both walls.
Definitely looking like a boss arena to me.
This is the central area. Take the elevator down and you'll arrive at the control. The AI that controls the factory must have been hacked. So that's why the shelter wasn't operating properly.
So if we destroy it, does that mean the shelter will get its power supply back?
I'm not liking this. Give me a robot with a sword. I don't want to do this. Come on, man. Give me a big robot with a sword. Not this. Really? Why do we stray from just having guys with swords? I don't want to solve a puzzle while I'm doing a boss fight. I want to fight a humanoid boss.
The AI that controls the factory must have been hacked.
Oh man, really?
So that's why the shelter wasn't operating
Might
properly.
be time to stop playing this for tonight.
So if we destroy it,
Gimmick
does that
boss
mean the
fight
shelter will
always
get its
triggers
power
me.
supply back?
Come on, man. Just spawn a big robot or something. This is not going to be fun. I hate this. Auto-scroller. This is garbage. Worst boss fight so far. Gimmicky crap. Please just die after this. Let's go back to normal boss fights. No, of course that's not it. I hate fights like this. You're just waiting. You can't attack, do anything. This is garbage, man! This takes forever. Just fly over there and beat it up. End my suffering, game. Of course. Please just die after this. Ah, come on, man. Enough with the gimmicks. Guy with sword. Oh, man, it's just a boring auto-scroller. Alright, well that's enough of that game for today. Fuck that shit. You don't need to do anything more than humanoid boss that punches or slashes. That's the end result right there. Shitty auto-scroller, or you're stuck just waiting. It's always the worst boss fights, because every time you die, you can't speed it up. You're stuck waiting there, standing there. Sucks. It's like there's some kind of, like, Illuminati law. You have to put shit boss fights like that. They know full well no one likes them, but they keep doing it. And they're always the worst part of action games. Especially, it takes like 5 minutes to get there, because you're stuck just standing in place. You can't fight. Garbage. I don't get it, man. You get so much right, and then there's always at least like 2 bosses like that. You're not actually fighting anything. You're just standing around waiting. Just probably had like 10 more phases after that. I'm not feeling it right now. I'll probably get it next time I play, but it's starting to get me pissed off. If I ever made an action game, it would just be like Assault Spy. But the game only has like 10 bosses, but they're all humanoid and they all stagger. And they're all pretty evenly fun to fight. No gimmicks at all. That game has no replay value anyway, from what I'm hearing. You can't even, like, New Game Plus. You don't have the endgame modes in yet.
My turn.
how we do it? Cat Ranger style.
As soon as I was praising Ultra Age, it jumped the shark. Typical. I haven't really watched anything on that game, so I'm just as blind on it as you guys are. That's par for the course, though. Neo had two shitty gimmick bosses like that, and nobody ever wants to fight them.
I'm not afraid to lose. I'm afraid to give up. Fight!
Pretty normal action game fare. Doesn't ruin the games, but replays and stuff, it's definitely brings it down.
Mega Blaster!
Shall we dance? Follow my lead! Here's the finale! Every frog has his day.
I don't know if I feel like playing anything else. I think I'm just going to enjoy the rest of my night off. I wanted to play more Ultra Age, but I don't feel like malding over a gimmick boss. Usually, I get to bosses like that in video games. I just, I don't want to do it. And I come back with a clearer head and I clear it the first time. I also want to work on the Hunter X overview. I'd like to get that done. Since they were nice enough to give me a key, I played the game to completion. I definitely wouldn't really bother playing it again right now, just because it's still got some jank that needs to be worked out. But I'd like to work on that. Maybe do some unsold gameplay or something. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for tonight. I think I feel like just chilling out. I don't feel like working too much on my day off, because I very rarely get a day off. I'm either doing this or or kitty sitting or both. So yeah, let me see. It's on. It's popping on Twitch right now. Definitely getting better at noticing I'm getting pissed off. I stop playing pretty much instantly. Really helps things. Not getting to the point where I feel pissed off. Oh wow, Pang is on. Pang's playing DMC5. I think I'm gonna head over there. I'll catch you guys, probably usual. Probably stream at my neighbor's house and then, around this time tomorrow.